Nerd could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerd could rise up. It could get elevated.
Hey,
Nerdcore
it's me, Mario.
What are you doing now, Chris?
My name is not a Chris. It's a Mario.
No, it's a not.
No, it's not. But it is me, Scott Wolf, circa 1994's Double Dragon. I must train to defeat, stuff. Ah,
No, you're not.
no, I'm not. Okay, so I am Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's good. Call me Guile.
What? No. What?
From the 1994 Street Fighter movie.
Okay, well, if you guys haven't guessed it by now, and by the terrible movie references, today's episode is about video games to movies.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom, where we are two 30 to 40-something-year-olds who talk about pretty much whatever we want. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle, and you guys might know us from the online streaming Twitches as K-Sig. That's me. And then, am I going to do it right this time? I am. And Guyver over there. There we go.
It's a me.
It's a him. Guyver UNT0101 from the Twitches. And,
or, as Andrew Shaman was calling me last night, Guyver Unt.
Guyver Unt.
Guyver Unt. It's not Guyver Unt.
That's how I say it in my head.
Well,
Guyver Unt.
only for you, Guyver Unt. This is your part right here.
This is where I was supposed to talk? Okay.
Yeah.
So today's episode is about video games to movies. And this is going to be our typical, high level overview where we'll go into depth to some of the movies, some of the ones that we know. There's some that I've seen that Chris hasn't seen, some Chris has seen that I haven't seen, more that Chris has seen that I haven't seen. But this is kind of like our little starter primer, like what we did with the role playing and the cosplay and prop making. It's kind of a little primer, little intro to kind of get you guys started.
So I know we said our next episode was going to be the Spelljammer, just to address that. But we had some scheduling issues. So we decided to pull from our big bag of tricks that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing this one, which I'm excited about. This one's going to be a fun one.
Our big old sack of tricks. Big old trick sack.
Big old man sack.
Mm-hmm. Old saggy trick sack.
And just so you guys know, we're just gonna go ahead and mention this. What we consider to be the good movies, you may not consider to be good movies.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we may or may not think a movie's good, we aren't telling you that your opinion's wrong.
No,
we're just telling you our opinion's right.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We're just want to share with you the wealth and make sure that you go through some of the pain that we did.
Yes,
some of these movies.
There is some pain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the time, they were awesome.
Yeah, a lot of those when you first watch them, like, this is great. A lot of those when we first watched them, we were like 12. Mm-hmm. So
it's true, and now it's painful.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
speaking of,
well, speaking of painful, don't we have a new sponsor?
We do. Horny Heritage is branching out again. He's really expanding his ways, and he's got a new venture out that he is willing to sponsor the show with a little bit. So send us over a new little soundbite, new little commercial. So we'll have a listen to that right now. We'll be right back with you guys.
Ooh, I'm excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you. I have a problem. We all know I love problems, so I can use my new products on them. Is your shaft dry? You have an unsightly shaft from it being so dry. Does the friction of shooting cause pain of a dry shaft? Well, that happened to me most of my adult life. Well, It actually started in my teenage years. That's why I created Horny Harry Slug Lube. What we do here at Horny Harry's is I get your different types of slugs, garden slugs, sea slugs, leper slugs, etc. We start rubbing them vigorously until they spray their slug coating out. We then collect it in a bottle and pair it with our finest of berries, flowers, and beard shavings. After about a 20-minute rest, we're ready to go again. All this all-purpose lube is great.
EGTN does not endorse the shaking of slugs more than 3 times in one go. Please order protection for handling HH slug.
Wow. So, slug lube?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, apparently he's really branching out. I like.
He is. He's
What do you think you can use this slug? So is it just for?
the question is, what can't you use it for?
Yeah, that's even better.
I think that's really where the rub
You
is.
think he has a winner with this? Like there'll be some other
No.
people who might sponsor us later that might
Oh,
want to
well,
buy this.
maybe. It's going to take some brave entrepreneuring individuals to really jump off with this one. I don't know who he's going to find. Maybe he will, though.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see
Somebody will
in a
take
future episode.
Somebody will take the bait.
Literally. So, let's talk about video games to movies.
Yeah.
What's the draw? What do you think the draw is?
Money.
Pure and simple.
Pure and simple money. Okay. Well, I say that kind of facetiously. There's some movies from this list. It's a longer list than I thought. There's some things on here that I didn't even think about. There's some movies that I've missed, and we'll go through a long list of those. And but there's definitely some cash grabs on this list. I think it's almost like the reverse of making a movie to sell merchandise. This is the reverse play on that. Like, oh, we got all this we got this really cool IP right now that people are playing and enjoying. Let's make a movie off of it, because if they spent $200 million buying this game, surely we can make that back on a movie as well. And so there's some cash grabs. There's some that I think were well intended. I think there's some that they completely missed the source material.
Yep.
But that's part of our little nerdy history of things that we like and how things tie. We like movies and we like video games, so naturally they should work.
You would think.
But I think for the longest time, the movie industry, there was such a disconnect between the movie industry and the video game industry that the people making the calls on the movie side didn't totally understand their audience. They just saw a market, but it was a market that they didn't understand really well, so they didn't put their best resources into it.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I think when you see the reverse of a video game coming from a movie, there's a lot better results sometimes. Well, I don't know. Now that I think about it, there's some games that came from movies that are really well done. Some of the Jurassic Park games and things like that are fun. May not be true to the source material, but
offshoots, but not. I think what you're trying to, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're trying to get at is that the ones that are like the offshoots are fine. Like you're saying Jurassic Park, for example.
Yeah.
The Jurassic Park Evolution. That's a fun game. You get to breed dinos and like all sorts of stuff, but it's not
two other dinos.
Two other dinos, not to each other. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, you're not personally breeding
topic.
them. I'm making a Chrysosaurus.
We're not making a Chrysosaurus. That would be amazing. A Brontosaurus with my face on it.
I was thinking something more like little tiny arms.
A T-Rex.
Just going.
It's like what happened to the Chrysosaurus? He got pushed down. He's been down there for about a week.
His glasses fell down and he couldn't fix them.
I can't see. There was time.
I can't reach my glasses.
Can you put them up for me? Hey, fellas, I'm back.
Oh.
But like, I think what Kyle, getting back to our point, I think what Kyle's getting at is like the ones that should be true source material, and then they try to adapt it into a movie.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get into this one, but like Mario Brothers comes to mind.
That's the first one we're going to
Mario
get
Brothers.
into.
Yeah. yeah, we'll get into that in a minute, but there are good movies who have done it, and I think those have only really come along in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
to me.
There's some of these, and it's really similar to what's a good example here? Who were we talking? We were talking with someone who's like that they wanted to read Ready Player One. We're like, watch the movie first.
B-Rob.
B-Rob. And because the movie in its own right is good, the book in its own right is great. But if you read the book and then you watch the movie, you're let down because you had this expectation over here. And I think that's kind of the same way with a lot of these movies. If you just watch the movie, like there's and you knew nothing about the source material, you could probably enjoy it just fine. There's a lot of little nuances and throwbacks and Easter eggs and stuff that you wouldn't get. A lot of fan service type stuff in there. Different type of fan service than the other fan service that we may talk about sometime. But I knew I'd get you with that one.
I was trying to keep a straight face. I was trying everything I could to think of something else.
But it's in your brain now.
Yeah, now it's ingrained. Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, there a lot of these are but could you imagine a live action Futurama? Anyway, so
That'd be frightening.
it'd be terrible. I don't think you could do it. It'd be like a live action Simpsons. But yeah, there's a lot of these movies that I think they're okay in their own right. If you watch them and you know, you just can't take a lot of them too seriously because like I said, there wasn't they didn't get the attention I think they deserve. And some of these had killer casts.
Yeah.
Like I mean, probably we'll talk about it too. We'll talk about Street Fighter. Street Fighter had a great cast.
Mm-hmm.
It was an okay movie. It was great when did that come out?
Street Fighter? 93 or 90.
94. So I was like 11. I just turned 11. That was a great movie for an 11-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back on it now.
The video game we were playing.
Yeah. And looking back on it now, who was in is like, man, that could have been such a better movie. But they held their own right. So we'll go through those.
Yep.
So go into the history a little bit for us, Chris.
So the history. So starting in the early 1990s is where this is gonna be our starting point because there were video game movies before then, but a lot of them came out of like Japan, and a lot was anime based.
Yeah.
What we are referencing in this episode is the live action bastardization from the Americans.
Mm-hmm. We screw everything up.
We have fucked everything.
Well, it takes us a while. No, okay. It takes us a little while to get it right. Sometimes a couple decades, but
almost 25 years, but yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
Ish. Almost 20 years. So we were looking at that. The earliest live action video game movies, they were, like Kyle was saying earlier, just blatant cash affairs.
Yeah.
They were just meant to pull in monies, not Bitcoin at this point, but just monies.
Actual cold hard real money.
Real money back when it was still used.
Not your fake internet money.
Not your internet monies.
Mm-hmm.
Quit paying me in that form, Mom. It was from a medium that Hollywood had no stake, and they barely understood it. And what we mean with no stake is, it's not like a ribeye. It's not like sirloin.
It's not juicy.
It's not juicy.
We like them juicy.
A lot of companies now will have stakes in these video game companies.
Yeah. Sony.
Yeah. I mean, Sony, that's a prime example.
Mm-hmm. Warner Brothers, they publish games now.
Warner Brothers, everyone has their hands in something.
Yeah.
Whether it's a subsidiary or
LucasArts and
mm-hmm.
And there's well, that's the other way around. But then I think the LucasArts games, that's a good example of video games for movies done right on the average. There's some 100%. But there's some great ones in there too. So that's the other side of the coin.
Mostly LucasArts does it right. Well, that'll be in its own episode in itself. Yeah. But I agree.
But the games to movies.
So games to movies. So a lot of you are going to argue that the first video, not a lot of you, those who will remember, are going to say that the first video game movie to movie adaptation or video game to movie adaptation was Tron. That is not correct. Tron came out in 1982, the movie.
You're wrong. People
I
that
wanna
said
say
that.
it was you're wrong.
Mhm.
It came out in July 9th, 1982. The video game of Tron came out in August of 92. So a
Mhm.
month later. So
Yep.
the video game, I remember my orthodontist used to have the old Tron video game and I used to play it nonstop. I mean, it was dated, but it was fun because it's the only video game to play in there besides
You had
Mr.
a
Pac-Man.
dentist with a freaking what would have been an
Orthodontist?
Atari?
No, it wasn't. It was the
Coleco?
cabinet. No, it was
Oh,
the
okay.
cabinet. It was the arcade game.
Your orthodontist had an arcade cabinet in his
Yeah,
waiting
a
room?
couple of them. The little side room, but yeah.
What?
Well, yeah, when you pay $5,000, I hope there's something in there. I
That's
didn't
pretty
play it,
cool.
My parents did. Yeah, it was.
We just had like the
until-
weird wooden blocks that you'd have to stack that every freaking kid
What-
for the last
it-
7 years
It
sneezed
was
on.
until then I went back. And they still do.
Yeah.
And little Kyle was licking the blocks.
Mhm. Chewing on the triangle.
Block licker. It evened out because then, I'd go back there and just get put through pain. So, and I'm not recording on my end, by the way, because I just remembered I didn't hook the Roadcaster back up.
It's fine. We got it. I am.
Good. Just remind me and I'll redo that.
Okay.
So the Tron movie was not the first. Some of you will argue that, but you're wrong.
Yep.
We're
We're backing it up with facts.
Facts, cold hard facts.
Mhm.
So the very first video game to movie that I can think of, unless Kyle can correct me, is the theatrical release of Super Mario Bros. It was released May 23rd of 1993.
I think you're right.
You think
That's the first one. I've racked my brain on this, trying to think if there's anything offshoot. And there may have been some like straight to video stuff in the late 80s but theatrical release that really sent it home would have been Mario Brothers. And I kind of remember, I was like 10 when this was announced.
Mhm.
And I remember wanting to watch it. I didn't go to the theaters and watch it. I don't think I watched it until a year or so later at home. And like even then, like, I'm like 9, 10 years old, 11 years old, whatever, watching this movie, like, what the fuck is going on?
I was watching it. I watched it in the theater. I remember watching it in the theater. And because I was so excited. I was the first kid on my block to get a Nintendo.
Yeah.
I played the shit out of Mario. I loved Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario Brothers. Anything with Mario, because video games were kind of in its infancy.
Yeah.
Way back when Nintendo first was released.
Well, and being able to play at home,
right,
was
that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Then going to see it in the theater, I was so excited, and then I looked and go, what the hell is this? It's like the Goomba, the giant
thing with a little
creature
head.
with the little head, and then
Yeah.
it's like, where's Toad? Where's
Toad
the
was-
princess?
Toad
Why
was
aren't they-
weird in this, and I'm pulling up the IMDb on this, see who played what, because I remember there were a couple of bigger names in this.
Mr. Bob Hoskins
Mm-hmm.
was
I love
Mario.
Bob Hoskins.
Rest in peace. Eddie Valentine,
Mm-hmm.
Bob Hoskins. I seem to recall reading an interview saying that he regretted, this is the one movie he regretted doing.
I don't blame him at
I
all.
have to see if I can find that and link to it, but I seem to recall an interview with him saying that he regretted this movie.
Oh, as I'm looking up here, is this right? So I'm looking up Super Mario Brothers on the IMDb.
Okay.
Almost 30 years later, is this confirmed? Super Mario Brothers, the movie, 2022. Illumination Entertainment, Priority Development. Last updated 2018, so this may not
Okay.
actually be happening.
So I'll tell you what else
Son of a bitch.
completely ruined the movie for me.
Okay.
Was the Super Mario Brothers Super Show that came out in 1989 with Captain Lou Albano as Mario.
Yep. We actually watched
And-
some of that the other day.
Oh, I love that show.
It was on WGN, if I
Was it
remember right.
really?
Whenever I watched it, that's what it showed on. I remember watching it at my grandma's house, and I liked it. Okay, the live action, not so much. It was weird. It was quirky. It was like Bozo the Clown esque live
it was
action.
Still, like, they were still the plumbers.
They
in
were
the right costumes.
They were accurate. The cartoon shorts were very accurate,
Mhm.
like what you would expect a screen adaptation of the game that you like. You had the
Right.
Zelda shorts that were in there too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
Yeah.
excuse me, princess.
Yeah, they were good. That was good. That's how the movie should have been.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because Danny Wells was Luigi too.
I just remember he reminded me of my uncle Daryl. Looked a
Your
lot like
uncle?
him. Yeah.
Like Luigi?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So back in the movie, we had Dennis Hopper as Bowser. He probably regretted that role too.
Yep. Yep.
John Leguizamo was Luigi.
Oh, that's right.
Like, they had a good cast. They had a pretty decent cast,
This is pre-House of Buggin' too, I think.
but it was
Jim
just
Hopper.
it was
Samantha
weird.
Mathis was Daisy. Oh, Fisher Stevens was in there. If you remember Fisher Stevens. Yeah, they
Really?
had a good cast. They just ruined it. It was because like there's no magic mushrooms, no fireballs. Like I said, the TV show had me all excited for it.
Mhm.
And then I saw it and it's like, I mean, at the time it was cool. Because you get to see your video game people, come to life. This is the first time I'd ever seen that. But then it's
Yeah.
like,
Wasn't there like a Yoshi type thing in there? Wasn't it like a little dinosaur Yoshi?
I seem to recall that. I can't remember though. Like, and I have honestly no desire to go back and rewatch it.
I may have to just to do it.
There might have been.
I'm flipping through here. I'm like looking at stills from the movie. I remember some things, but
I remember very few things from it. Like I said, I have no desire to go see it again. So the movie was about two Brooklyn plumbers. Mario and Luigi must travel to another dimension to rescue a princess from the evil dictator King Koopa and stop him from taking over the world.
they had the plot right.
Yeah, the plot sounds right. Just where's the warp pipes?
Mhm.
Where's the little dude riding on the cloud throwing little spiked roly polies at me?
Wasn't it? What was his name? It wasn't Loki. It was something like Loki though.
Yeah, I don't remember. I will find it here in a sec.
Lakitu.
but
Lakitu.
What's funny is in the past week, the popularity of the movie, I think it's free on Amazon right now, has gone up 9%.
Huh. Well, sucks to be those people.
Yeah. So I don't know. They could have done it better. Like, if you all love the movie still, let us know in the Discord. We're not going to judge you.
I mean,
You're wrong,
campy.
but we're not going to judge
this
you.
this could be one of those campy favorites. This is one that needs to get riffed if it hasn't been.
Actually, I think it has. I think it's been riffed on riff tracks.
Okay. I would like to see it get the full Mystery Science Theater treatment, but
Would too.
if the original cast riffed it, that's good enough for me. I'll go find that.
Me too. So I don't know. The whole movie was just kind of. It hasn't aged well either.
It just exists now.
It's there. So I think we need to give it a rating system. We need our own EGTN rating system.
What
What
would it
think
be?
about that? Like, is it a nerk up or
Nerk down.
a nerk down?
I give it 2 nerks down.
I give it 2 nerks down.
Actually, You got to really come from your neck beard area if you're going to throw the actually out. Yeah.
So
Really get down in there on that one.
yeah, that's hard for me. I got a little girly voice. Okay, so we'll move past that. I mean, there's not a lot more to be said about it. It's just, we didn't enjoy it.
No.
We really didn't. The next one on our list is from, hold on, let me get it here. 1994, November 4th, 1994. That is Double Dragon.
Okay, so looking back, I did watch this. I don't
think
remember a damn
everyone's
thing.
watched it. No, so
The tagline, power, justice, darkness, light. Two halves of an ancient people are the only hope. Double Dragon. Whatever.
it's not the Billy and Jimmy Lee that we know either.
No.
So this totally rode on the popularity of the time of Scott Wolf.
Okay.
He was one of the main stars. And what did I say? This was 94.
I think
If
so.
you go look at the 90,
I'm looking. There's a Platinum Cult Edition Blu-ray. What?
no,
The Cult Movie Collection, Double Dragon.
Scott Wolf at the time wasn't on. This wasn't Party of Five at the time.
Oh, Alyssa Milano was in it.
Yep, she was in it.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this.
It is a very young Alyssa Milano. So Scott Wolf was in it, and also Mark DaCosta, DeCasios.
Very early '90s, 21 Jump Street looking fellas.
Well, if you don't know who he is, he was in John Wick 3. Is the guy who tried to kill him, the bald guy, the leader of like the Ninja Clan,
Mhm.
who tried to kill John Wick. I am always gonna remember Mark as the chairman on Iron Chef America, the son of the chairman. That's
Wait.
how I'm always gonna remember him.
That's not him, but that looks like him.
It is him.
Are you sure? Is that
100%.
really him?
Yes.
Holy crap, it is. Oh, he
Yes.
shaved his head.
Mm-hmm. He's a great actor, and he's
He
from
is.
Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, he was Zero in John Wick 3.
Okay. He's in a new movie
But I'm
coming out.
always gonna remember him as the son of the chairman in Iron Chef America.
Wait, he's not even Japanese? Is he? I've been
I've
bamboozled.
I mean, he's from Hawaii. He might be Japanese.
He's from Hawaii.
Doesn't mean shit.
He was the chairman.
Mm-hmm. He's a mix
Oh,
of
yeah, yeah.
Japanese, Filipino, Spanish, Irish, and Chinese.
The darkly exotic, multilingual, multi-skilled Costco's.
Darkly exotic.
Hmm.
So
Totally the opposite of how I'm described. I've never been described as darkly exotic.
you haven't been described as any of those.
Huh. He is the chairman. I'll be damned.
He is the chairman.
There's
You're
your
welcome.
fun EGTN fact of the day. We'll have more later.
There you go. Yeah, Alyssa Milano was in it. The movie was just, I remember even at the time, like I'm one who loves all movies. I can find a redeeming quality in any movie. Just because I think back in college, I was the chairman of the Northeastern Activities Board movie section.
Mhm.
And I believe that the most pure form of entertainment is a movie. You could get two people that just hate each other. You could sit them side by side and they would technically go through the same roller coaster of emotions if it's a good movie.
Not Double Dragon.
Not Double Dragon, for like that 2-hour period, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's a pure form of entertainment. I love movies. I can't say 3 good things about this movie.
It's memorable for me. I remember that I watched it because going through
Same.
the stills, I remember the outfits that they wore, and that was like, okay, I guess.
And their medals gave them gave
Mhm.
them their powers. And like Vanna White was in it. I remember that.
She
Played
was.
herself. Yeah.
Let's see, look at the cast. We got Robert Patrick, Christina Wagner.
Maybe that's Robert Wagner's wife or something.
Yeah, I'm not. There's Cordy Milano. Vanna White as Vanna White.
Or Goulet.
John Asher was Smartass Mohawk. Whatever that is.
I don't know, but yeah. So, 2 Nerks down.
2 Nerks down.
What did the 5 fingers say to this movie? Slap.
No. But we do get to go on to one of my favorite.
You can introduce this one.
One of my favorite video game based movies. Let me pull it up on IMDb here real quick so I can have all the stuff I need for it. 1994's ultimate classic. I think they got snubbed at the Academy Awards. This should have won Best Picture. I really believe this should have won Best Picture. At least Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor. We had Street Fighter from 1994. Probably, arguably the best known video game movie of the 90s. In competition with the one that we have coming up next. But
Well, just like the video games.
just like, ooh, well, we gave it away now. Now you guys know.
No, if they don't know video games, they don't know.
They don't know, but they know this. Our audience knows this.
You just don't.
Guys, we got new toys. We're still playing with the voice changers.
We are.
And we love them. So 94 Street Fighter. Colonel Guile and various other martial arts heroes fight against the tyranny of dictator M. Bison and his cohorts.
So
That's the plot.
that's the plot.
That's it.
It did not follow the video games at all.
No. And
I remember
think for this one's okay.
This one was okay. I remembered
I'll
this
argue,
one has become a classic, I think.
Yeah. And I'll argue, okay, so we have some like, oh, it didn't follow the story at all, which I don't remember. Okay, so like Mortal Kombat had an underlying story to it.
The tournament.
The tournament. Street Fighter, sort of. Not really. No. So I think this is okay.
It had a loosely. It has a loose plot.
But let's talk about the cast on this one. Colonel Guile.
So is
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, he's good.
Van Damme, he can do those splits. So and he did them.
He did
Yes.
them. It was a little weird seeing a Frenchman as the American, like
They were
blonde-haired white guy.
they were the UN whatever the version of the UN was in this, right?
Right, but Guile's the American Marine.
Yeah, they did change it up.
Yeah, big time.
We have the great
immortal.
Yeah.
Immortal Raul Julia as
Mhm.
Bison. And this was his last movie.
I know that
Did
I
he
hate that for
die
him.
on set? Or
No.
He died after, didn't he?
I think he died after.
Like almost immediately after too, if I remember. Like
Yeah. Probably like after like they showed the final cut, like, hey, here's how it looks. Like,
he's like, I'm done.
yep, enough of
'Cause
this.
He was Gomez just before this.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, the guy from Overdrawn
Drawn.
Memory Bank.
Damn it, you beat me to it.
Ah!
If you guys haven't seen that, watch that.
That's a great one. That's a Mystery Science Theater one.
Mm-hmm. He was amazing.
He was amazing. Ming Na Wen, who I love and think she's gorgeous, a very, very young Ming Na Wen as Chun-Li.
Oh yeah. Was she the voice of Mulan?
Yep, she was also the voice of Mulan, Fennec Shand, and Mandalorian, Agent May, Melinda May, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What else she did? Aki Ross, I think, in what was it, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. That was a terrible one. We'll get to that.
That was one I always wanted to watch and never did start it. So you're saying
You're not
don't worry
missing
about it.
Yeah, you're not missing a thing.
See, we have Damien Chapa as Ken. In a,
Hey, what was that?
Is that not right? Damien
is.
Chapa?
Get to the what?
Damien.
Get
Get
to
to
the
the
Damien.
Damien.
Get to the Damien.
Get to the chopper.
Um,
This I really don't remember him from anything else.
I'm looking up his stuff right now.
Well, look up the movies.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Not the. All right.
He did. Looks like.
Of course, he was in Melrose Place.
Who wasn't at the time? Allison, I miss you.
I'm not really seeing he did like.
Nothing memorable.
No, a couple years later, he was like in one episode of Married with Children.
Yeah, he didn't really do.
No.
He's in a couple things now.
He's
But
got some stuff coming up. It's probably 4D. I bet that's okay. Devil's Ring.
basically nothing big.
Illuminati. Okay, so yeah.
Here's one that I did not know. Cammy.
Oh, you must have got that out of your head.
I did. I can't even finish that because that was a good one. You got me with that one.
You have to now. I'm not even going to let you fin- I'm not saving you.
No. But yeah, Kylie Minogue, who I love. I think she's gorgeous.
Mhm.
But I didn't know that was Cammy.
Yep.
She looked good in the Cammy outfit. Okay, so who was next?
Oh, who played Sagat? Do I have to scroll like way down? Is he not?
Yeah, Dalsum, Zangief. They had a good cast. It's just
Oh, here we go.
a lot of
I
people
knew
I
that's
didn't
who
know.
was Sagat. Wes Studi was Sagat.
Wes Studi was
Yeah,
the Native American.
from Oklahoma.
actor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he played Sagat.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, let me look at that.
It's right there on the main IMDb page when you look at like the photos. It's like the third photo over to the right.
They had Greg Rainwater as T-Hawk. At least they got a Native American to play that. They didn't
Yeah.
wash it. It is Wes Studi.
Mhm.
Ah,
The amazing Wes Studi. Like I said, they
like
had a
Wes Studi.
solid freaking cast.
they really did. Who played? I know him. The guy who played E Honda. I want to say that is
Oh, you're gonna
peanut butter pancakes from 51st Dates. The cook.
You're gonna have to take that name. Because I can't.
I don't think I can.
I'll butcher it.
Peter, his middle name's Navy.
Yeah.
Chuasosopio. I want to say he was in 51st Dates. I'm looking
Don't see him in there.
because I think he's Hawaiian. If he's the guy, I think so.
I'm pretty sure
was
he's
in Ba-
Hawaiian.
He was in basketball.
Yeah.
No, maybe he
Dragnet.
wasn't.
He was one of the sumos in Austin Powers Gold member.
He was in Batman
Fitting.
and Robin. Nothing big. No, apparently he wasn't in 51st Dates.
Nothing big, but he was a big fella. He's still alive. I don't want to say that, and then he's like,
And he's listening. And
Yeah.
well, I think
well,
there's
like he
no.
just passed away or something. Like,
I don't think it'll.
I don't
I
think
can
it'll get to
guarantee
him.
you he's not listening to this.
Okay. His middle name is Navy.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? But anyways, so the Street Fighter movie was nothing like. I think we got a Hadouken at the end.
I think
if I
we
remember
did.
right.
There wasn't a whole lot of special powers.
No, so it was not like the video games at all, but it was enjoyable.
It's really sad that
Not my
the
favorite. but it was
Hoslin wasn't
enjoyable.
all stretchy. That's what I was hoping for.
Yep.
Oh, did you see who plays him though?
Dawson. That was Roshan Seth.
Yep.
Why do I know him?
He was
Oh!
He was in Gandhi.
That was Charter Law in Temple of Doom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. He's still alive, isn't he?
Born in 42. He might be. See full bio. Born. Well, we don't have a death on there. Yeah, he's still going.
Good.
So yeah, they had some like, and not, they weren't all like big names, but there are a lot of
Raul Julia
recognizable.
was.
Well, yeah.
John Claude was. But yeah, it was. I don't know. It was for what it was. I liked it.
From our list of video game movies, probably the most stacked cast, I would say.
Yeah.
Fight me
the
on
guy
that
who-
one, Discord.
Fight him. The guy who played Zangief. That is
Yeah.
Andrew Bernarski.
Yep.
He was Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2003 remake.
Oh, well, he was a big guy.
Yeah, he's a huge dude.
Yeah, he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy.
He's not bad guy, but yeah. So
But
I don't know.
he was a bad guy in
He was a very bad guy, but for what it was, I enjoyed it.
Barlog was played by Grand Bush. You know what?
We're gonna leave that there.
No, we're not, because there's more. He's played by Grand Bush. Grand Bush was also in Die Hard and played Little Johnson, according to this. So Little Johnson was played by Grand Bush.
So the Johnson's always playing in the bush.
Well, the Johnson got played by the Bush. So
Well, isn't that the story of our
such
lives?
is the story of our, yeah.
And that's how. Now you know the rest of the story.
The more you know.
We're
need the-
stupid.
We need the thing.
So we have that one.
Mhm.
Okay, next on the list is from August 18th, 1995. So now we're almost a full year later. Street Fighter was December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. Oh, let me mention this too. Super Mario Brothers grossed 38 million. Okay.
Okay.
Double Dragon, 4 million.
Oh, that's what they get.
Street Fighter, 99 million.
So they made some monies.
They made some monies. Okay, next one on the list is Mortal Kombat the movie.
Yep.
I actually loved this movie.
God, I loved it. I have really good. This was the first one I saw in theaters. I
Like,
have good memories on this one.
I do too. I loved it because it followed the video game a lot.
Yeah, it did.
And more importantly, we had the Highlander as Raiden.
Yeah. Oh,
Christopher Lambert was Raiden.
does Christopher Lambert, just him being in this, does that trump having Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia in Street Fighter?
100%.
Okay. I'm not even going to argue
Christopher
that.
Lambert. Because, he was born to be king.
Hmm.
He was immortal. No man can be his equal. To be fair, that was from the TV show with the other Highlander. But still, that was clever. You're
Let's
welcome.
see. That's
Um,
really your only big. Well, Robin
Nope.
Shu.
You had, at the time, you had Kerry Tagawa is in that. He is one
Oh,
of those
yes.
actors who's been in everything. You may not know he's in it, but he's been in everything.
He's also in
I'll-
another video game movie.
He has. We'll get to that too. We have he was there. He played Shang Tsung,
Mhm.
and for years after that, he voiced Shang Tsung in the video game.
I did not know that.
So he was in at least 11 that I can remember, and I want to say there was a couple more. And then he replayed him in Mortal Kombat Legacy, the TV series. Like, there's a bunch. I'm always going to remember him as Johnny Tsunami's grandpa in the Disney movies, Johnny Tsunami. But yeah, he's one of those actors that he's been in a shit ton, and you may not know him, but you're like, I know his face.
His first role was in Big Trouble in Little China.
Who was he in that? Was he?
He was uncredited. He was an extra, but he was Wing
Really?
Kong Man. Extra.
Well, that's
Oh, he did a episode in MacGyver.
Oh, he was in The Last Emperor too. I forgot about that. He was Chang.
Star Trek, Next Generation.
You see what I mean by he's done everything?
been in
Alienation,
a
which was
lot
a
of
great
stuff.
TV series.
Jake and the Fat Man.
I love that show.
Oh, he's in the Kickboxer sequel. That's cool. So yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Babylon 5. He was in that, and then Bridget Wilson was in that at the time too. Bridget Wilson Sampras, who will forever be Veronica Vaughn. This is the same year that Billy Madison came out.
Oh, so she had them both the same. Oh, she went on to do The Voice too.
So what I remember about this was, so this came out, Billy Madison was, hold on, I'll tell you. It was, damn it, where is it? February 15th of 1995, right? Mortal Kombat came out August 15th of 1995. So that's why I remembered seeing her, because Veronica Vaughn was super hot in Billy Madison. I'm like, it's Miss Vaughn. She's playing Sonya Blade. I remember that distinctly now.
I remember going to the theaters to watch this.
And she's married to Pete Sampras, if you haven't figured it
Oh,
out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what we got here? 95. So okay, so we got 12-year-old, almost 12-year-old me. I was probably 11 going into 12 at that time. Already been playing Mortal Kombat. Probably shouldn't have been at that age, but I've been playing it. Talked my dad into taking us to watch the movie. And so it came out late 95, August 95. So my youngest brother was just like 2 or 3 at the time. And I just remember going and watching that, and then the Goro like reveal, when he comes out and he's just like,
Yes.
"Bro," and arm and an arm and arm and arm are out.
Very puppety looking by today's standards.
Very puppety looking, but when he did the roar, the full roar, my baby brother was sitting over in a chair down from my dad and my other brother, and I remember him yelling back at him, just going, "Rah!" in the theater, yelling back at Goro.
So
Yeah.
it was scary. Like, it was cool how they brought it to life, because Goro was an unlockable character.
Mhm.
You couldn't just play.
No, you had to fight him towards the end of the tournament. You had to fight him before you fought Shang Tsung.
And then, so the guy who played Robin Shu, the guy who played Liu Kang, I loved him as Liu Kang. I thought he played a great Liu Kang. He also went on to play in the sequel to this Annihilation, which we'll get to, but he played Haru's brother in Beverly Hills Ninja. So if you didn't remember that. And then another one that, where is he?
Lyndon Ashby, that played Johnny Cage, I thought did a great job as Johnny Cage.
Yep, I agree. Trevor Goddard played Kano. He played Mick from Jag.
He was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. He's always going to be the guy from Jag for me. He was great. He was in Babylon 5. He was one of the guys that started bringing to light mental illness, because he killed himself in 2003. I think it was suicide. At the height of his career.
40.
Yeah.
God, he was I liked Kano in that movie so much.
He was great in it. And so there's that one. And then Talisa Soto, which she was amazingly hot, and that was Katana. And you guys can make fun of us all you want, but you know what? Young Chris and Kyle there, and anyone else who played these video games, seeing these costumes, was awesome for us.
It was. They did okay. So the costume work on this movie was good. The special effects were, for the time, really good.
Great.
Goro now, Goro didn't age terribly well. You go back and you rewatch it now, but then looked good. The scenes with the ship, they're crossing over to fight in the tournament, on Shang Tsung, that was cool. You see, immediately you get introduced to Scorpion and Sub-Zero right off the bat. The only thing I didn't like, you didn't get a whole lot of oh crap, I just now went blank and forgot his name. They had the metal arms. Jax was a minor role in there. That was it. He was there at the very beginning.
To be fair, Jax wasn't in the first Mortal Kombat game.
That's true. And he had his arms.
Yep.
This time around. Which I guess I've heard they've corrected in the new movie, which I haven't watched yet, and I know Chris hasn't finished yet.
I haven't finished, but so far it's pretty cool.
Yep.
And like Kyle's saying, I mean, it doesn't have the star power that Street Fighter had.
No.
But it was good. It was good for the time. And I will still fight you for it, saying that I still really like this movie.
Oh, I'll still go back and watch it once every couple of years just to rewatch it. Because it was this one, I'll go back and rewatch this one, like purposefully go back and rewatch this one. Street Fighter, if I come across it, I'll watch it. But I will seek out Mortal Kombat to go back and rewatch it.
So Mortal Kombat grossed $124 million.
Yep. On a budget of 18 million.
I think they made their money back.
They got their money back and then some. Good investment by New Line.
Mm-hmm.
Who also did
that brings us into New Line decides, hey, I want to capitalize on this and expand our character roster. Let's do a great movie called Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah, we shouldn't have. I think that's one of the movies I didn't finish. I started watching it, and I was just like,
No.
They made their money back. They spent more money on Annihilation than they did making the first one. They spent $30 million making Annihilation. They made $51 million.
They still made their money.
They got their money back, but
so Annihilation. Hold on, we'll read you some of the cast from Annihilation. Annihilation was crap.
How did they spend more money on this?
Okay, here's Annihilation. I was super excited for Annihilation.
I was too. I think I watched it once.
So the first big mistake was they didn't bring Lambert back as Raiden.
Nope.
They replaced Sonya. So it was already different cast. So if you're trying to keep the success, you needed to do that. Was keep the cast.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. And then I'm trying to get to Brian Thompson was Shao Kahn. I'm always going to remember Brian Thompson. He was in a lot of different movies, and then TV shows. He's always going to be Eddie Fury to me. Recently he was in The Orville as Drogon, but he was in they did this old show called, which I want to do a series on for us, maybe even Nerkies, Kindred the Embraced, which was based off of, they just announced they're doing a whole universe. It's going to be movies and television crossing over. That's Vampire the Masquerade. Kindred the Embraced was based off of Vampire the Masquerade with your different clans. Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage, Wraith, and I forget, there's something else with bounty hunters. But it's a monsterverse.
Okay.
But they've always been equal opportunity. Like even back in like the 80s, 90s, their books would center around like the female leaders being the leaders or the strong leaders and stuff like that. So it's a really cool universe. I always remember him as Eddie Fury from that. And then he was the judge on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'll remember him from those. They put in Sindel, Shinnok. Motaro. That was terrible. Shiva, Nightwolf. If you remember, Nightwolf was Lightfoot. Lightfoot was I think he was a rapper at the time.
No, well, Lightfoot was was he the Indian from the Indian in the Cupboard?
Yeah, he was the Indian from the Indian in the Cupboard. It's Cherokee, and he's from Tulsa.
Yeah.
And I want to say, I remember he did like some music because K-Hits, before it was K-Hits, they used to play his stuff.
Oh, yeah, here we go. I see. Yeah, he started a record label and did hip hop tour. Okay, yeah.
And Rebel Music.
He's in
And
Call
then
the
he
Conqueror.
Yep. Oh, I loved Cole. It's a lot of people hate it. I love that movie. I really do.
First name was Gary Paul Davis.
They replaced Johnny Cage. Ermac was in it. Like everything about this movie was just bad.
Yeah.
And they tried to add in everyone to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Park was in it though.
At least they kept Liu Kang Katana
Yeah,
as original, but
and Shang Tsung.
I
But-
think I watched it once and that was it.
Do you know who Scorpion's voice was in it?
I'm gonna look here. Does it not even show? Oh, let me keep scrolling. I do not know.
Ed
Don't tell
Boon.
me. I want to be surprised. Oh, Boone did his
told you.
voice. Okay.
Yeah,
One
Ed
of the
Boon.
creators.
Ed Boon, who did the creator. Ed Boon, who was also part of the creation of Noob Saibot.
Well, that's
Ed Boon and
Tobias.
Yep,
Um,
John Tobias.
Yep.
It's their names put together backwards.
Yep.
But the movie was shit. Like I think I've gone back once and rewatched it my entire adult life.
I haven't even done that, to be honest. I watched it once and I was good.
I don't know, it's bad. It's just bad. Like I said, we're gonna go through this just to talk to you guys about this because I know a lot of you have seen it. It's just
There's some on here that I didn't even know were made into movies. I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit looking down the list.
we're gonna skip onto some of these. We're gonna get to some of the good ones, some of the bad ones here, like Wing Commander with Freddie Prinze Jr.
I think I watched half of it.
I didn't even get. I got through half. I finished the damn movie, but it was off. It was not the Wing Commander games. They made 11 million. I don't even know how they made 11 million. This is playing off. That was 99. That was playing off Freddie Prinze Jr.'s popularity at the time. Next, we have Lara Croft Tomb Raider, 2001.
The Moneymaker.
That was the moneymaker. Why do we call that the moneymaker? It made $274,000 million.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had Angelina Jolie in a skin-tight Lara Croft suit.
Yeah.
I went and saw it in the theater.
I don't think I saw it in the theater. Let's see what their budget was. Budget, $115 million. They made
They more than made their
$274
money
million.
back.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider wasn't bad. I didn't know what to expect from it because I didn't know how they were going to make a Tomb Raider game or movie, to be honest with you.
I mean,
It wasn't great.
nah. Made the money though.
Yeah. Next
The-
off,
The series
Okay.
made some money. I mean, there was how many movies did they end up doing? 1, 2,
3
Used
that
to-
I know of.
2. Was there? When was the third one?
They just redid a third
Oh.
one with a different lead.
Okay.
They did 2 with Angelina Jolie, and one was the Cradle of Life. That was
Okay, so yeah, they made some money there.
So, yeah, they made their money back. And then a year later, we have Resident Evil.
Great movie.
I loved Resident Evil with Mila
Mhm.
Jovovich.
Yep.
And
I love her
they went-
because of Fifth Element. Just
Lilu
multi-pass.
Multipass. Corbin Dallas. Which Fifth Element's a great movie.
Yeah.
But it
Fun,
was
fun EGTN fact. First Blu-ray I ever bought was
Really?
Fifth Element. Yep.
I think my first Blu-ray was A Bug's Life.
Because I loved that movie so much. Like this movie, I was trying to pick a movie that would look cool
Mhm.
on Blu-ray, and I'm like, this movie will look awesome on Blu-ray. So that was the first one.
First one.
Mhm.
So, Resident Evil spawned it. It was loosely based on the video games. I mean, it was an adaptation.
Yeah. And this is, I think, one of those where we say if you kind of stray a little from the source material, but you stay true to the spirit of the game. I think they did it right with the first one. I haven't watched the whole series. I think I've watched the first 2, maybe.
You haven't watched all 7. I've seen all 7.
Yeah.
They're in our queue, by the way.
Yeah.
But they're good. I like them.
Mhm.
I enjoyed them.
They made those up until when? There's 2012. 2017 was the last one they made.
So they had a good run.
Final chapter was in 2017. That was like the biggest moneymaker for them.
How much they make on that one?
The final chapter, they grossed $312 million.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they did good on it. I liked it.
Yeah.
Next we had Lara Croft Cradle of Life. That made 156 million.
Yep.
House of the Dead
Okay,
came out in
so
2003.
the game I'm not
Or no,
familiar
it's
with.
2000. So the game I used to play in the arcade all the time.
Wait, was that the?
This is
That
the
may be
shooter
from-
one.
Oh,
It
okay.
had you'd have to pump in like shit tons of quarters because it was
Fuck, you
super
suck.
hard, and you had the little guns, the little I think it was revolvers or were the shotguns. I can't remember.
Let me see what
I
it looked
remember
like
playing
here.
them at the video arcade.
Oh yeah, I did play this. I remember this one now.
House of the Dead was a fun game.
It's kind
House
of
of
like
the Dead, the movie, sucked balls.
it's kind of like in that time crisis style of arcade games, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, it was they were basically the same thing.
Okay.
And this was directed by I've never pronounced his name right, Uwe Boll. He's done a lot. He has done a lot of stuff.
Let's see. We get another Resident Evil
Apocalypse.
then we get
Then
Alone in the.
Alone in the Dark.
Did I play Alone? That's another you bowl.
Alone in the Dark is?
Uh-huh.
Alone in the Dark is laughable. I love it though.
I think I watched that one.
It wasn't scary at all. It was just funny.
I think I may have played the game. Oh, or was it Xbox only?
Wasn't
Wasn't it? If it was
Wasn't that
Xbox,
Super Nintendo?
there was a look here. Oh, Alone in the Dark 1 is on Steam. I may have to pick that up.
It looks like it's on Good Old Games too for like $2.
It looks like the first one was like it was made by Atari. It was a PC release. And you had Jack in the Dark.
Which is Kyle's Friday Nights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these were all the only one I would have probably ever came across would have been like New Nightmare.
New Nightmare
Was the first one that got released on like a console that I would have had been PlayStation. Then it looks like they redid Alone in the Dark in 2008 for PS2 and PS3. And I don't think I ever touched either one of those.
again. Like Kyle's Friday Nights.
Yup.
Jack in the Dark and everything else.
And here's one I do know.
Go for it.
After Alone in the Dark, let's see.
Which
Alone in the
made
Dark was
10
in
million.
January 2005. October of 2005, Doom came out.
Yep.
I remember being so excited for this.
I did too, because The Rock was in it.
The Rock was in it, and it wasn't very doomy.
Not at all. But if you remember, it was really cool when they did the
Yeah,
first person.
at the very end.
Yep. That was
So-
awesome.
I remember being like, I wasn't angry. I was just disappointed. Leading through the whole movie, like this is okay, but this isn't the Doom I remember. Like they should have like get Wes Craven to direct it. Then you would have had a great Doom movie, or Sam Raimi or somebody like that. And you could have had a great Doom movie, like Doom and Evil Dead mashup kind of stuff, because those guys know demons and that kind of stuff.
And
Coulda
they
had a-
didn't.
Could have had a great Doom movie, but no. But that final the final scene, or was like towards the end of the third act, almost at the end of the movie. I do remember like he was just going through busting stuff up, and they shot it from the view of like if you were playing a first person shooter game, like you could see the gun out, and then they had the sound effects from the game. I mean, Doom is such an iconic game,
It's
period,
true.
that I don't think this movie did it justice. We're finding that in a lot of these movies. Like, we had high hopes and we were disappointed. That goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode. There's a disconnect between your movie production studios and the people that made the games and the people that love the games. Like, there's enough out there to talk to that you could have got a lot of these right, and they just didn't do it.
So we're going to kind of go through there because there's a lot of these. We're not going to go through the rest of them through one by one because I want to get to the good movies, which are later. But like then we're going to go through like there was Blood Rain. Shit. Silent Hill. I liked Silent Hill.
Silent Hill was another one of those that's kind of like in the spirit. I think
It
Like,
was,
it was.
but
it was close.
it had the nurses and it had Triangle Head.
Mm-hmm.
Or
And you had the
Pyramid Head.
fog, if I remember right. Yeah, you had the
Yeah.
fog.
It had the fog, so it wasn't bad for what it was.
Mhm.
Dead or Alive DOA.
Isn't that a
Completely.
volleyball game?
No, well, that's one of them, but it's a fighting game. It was
Oh,
one of
okay.
the tag games, and you had like Tina Bass and then Bass, the professional wrestlers, and like Hitomi, all them. Like I love the game, but it just tried to capitalize on the big
Boobs?
boobed anime
Yeah.
girl.
So I remember. I don't think I ever played anything, but I played maybe a little bit of the volleyball game. Remember, it was very boob focused.
It was.
Like they put a lot into the physics there.
They did every jiggle.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Yeah.
after that Resident Evil Extinction. Again, I love all the Resident Evil series. I really do.
There was one I didn't know was made. It's next on your list.
Postal.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't know about it either. I never saw that one.
They lost some money on this boy.
They made $146,000
On a $15 million budget.
So we could say that would be a failure.
Directed by New Bold. Produced by
Really?
New Bold. Yeah.
Postal. I remember working at CompUSA, and Postal had just come out for Windows 98.
It's in
And it was just-
2007. The game?
The
Yeah.
game, and it was just completely controversial.
Yeah.
And then they made a movie about it.
I played it a little bit. I just remember it was one of those stupid fun games that it was just dumb run and gun and shoot and blow stuff
What
up
it
and
is.
do heinous shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Next off is Hitman. I liked the Hitman movie.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty true to the source material.
Well, you had Timothy Oliphant playing in perfect choice, I think,
Agent
for the
47.
look of Agent 47. Who else was in this?
I
Look
liked
here.
Hitman.
I did too. I thought it was pretty good. Like what was going to be tough with this movie is I think it would draw a lot of like James Bond type comparisons.
Mhm.
And that's hard to do well.
I
I
agree.
mean, he's totally he's not a James Bond character, but there's a lot of inspiration, I think, in the Hitman character from James Bond, just with the gadgetry and the way he does things. Now, a totally different type of character, but
Right. Well,
same vein.
47's he's a hitman. He's an assassin.
Yeah.
And Bond's the spy.
Yep.
So, but it was good. Next up, In the Name of the King, a dungeon siege tale with Jason Statham.
Statham?
It was awful. It was awful.
Not memorable?
No.
Okay.
Far Cry.
I didn't even know this was a movie, and I love the Far
Far
Cry
Cry?
games. Yeah.
Oh, the movie was awful.
So you've seen the movie? You contributed to that $743,000.
I did.
Let me see if you both tied to this.
Yep. So I think we're starting to see a theme here, which,
Yep.
you know what? I give him mad props for bringing all these video games to life.
Mm-hmm. They keep signing him up. Like, he had some good ones.
He did have some good ones, but
But this one, he had a budget of $30 million and box office $743,000. Somebody keeps hiring him.
not us.
Mm.
Then you had Max Payne. Love
Max-
the video games.
Yep.
And this is the one with Marky Mark.
Oh, yeah.
It was not good.
They made money. At least.
They made money.
They made about $50 million.
It just wasn't good. They tried to next follow up on the success of Street Fighter with Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. I never watched it.
I remember when it came out. Was this a direct-to-video? No, it was in theaters.
It was in theaters.
It sounds like it should be a direct-to-video, though.
It does.
Just with that title. New Bowl is not tied to this one. Nope, they lost money on this one. So there's
Pretty
that.
much for the next like 10 years here, they're going to lose some money. Tekken, awful.
Let's see if he was tied to this. I'm not looking ahead of time. Nope.
Nope,
U-Bowl
I
is
don't
not
know.
tied to this one.
Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time with Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's
They-
exactly who I think of when I want a Prince of Persia.
Prince of
is
Persia?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
But apparently, other people did too because it made $336 million.
That's fine. Yeah. This was an expensive movie.
How much was it?
$200 million. $200 million budget.
You know what? They still made a
300. They cleared their money.
$36 million more.
Distributed
made
by
the
Walt
money.
Disney.
Yep.
It's a Bruckheimer film.
Oh, it is.
Mhm.
Then we had 2 Resident Evils. We had Afterlife in 2010 and then Retribution 2012. We've already talked about how we like those. Need for Speed.
Hope you skipped over a Silent Hill Revelation.
Oh, did I? Oh, I did. I like the Silent Hill movies. I really do.
And they, and I keep talking about, okay, so I keep talking about budget versus box office, and you're hearing me say like, oh, they made money, they lost money. That's not a measure of a good film. I'm just looking at that from a business standpoint of like, was this a good thing for them to do? Business wise, some of these probably lost money, and you might like them. You might like the movies.
Hey, so be it.
So be it. Whatever. I'm just
Whatever.
looking if they were successful or not.
Yep, that's all we're looking at. Next was Need for Speed.
I didn't even know that was made into a movie. How did I
It
miss
was.
that?
It was not.
I played some of these. Were they okay? So
And you know who starred in it, right?
Aaron Paul.
Uh-huh. It was so bad.
So this came out in
2014.
2014. So how close was that? Close to Breaking Bad time?
I think it was right in the middle of Breaking Bad time.
Okay, so they snatched him up for that, and
I might be wrong.
they
But
made.
I'm pretty sure it was.
And they cleared well on this one. I mean, $66 million budget, $203 million box office.
It did well. It's just not a good movie.
Also distributed by Disney.
Yep.
Since there.
Next was Hitman Agent 47. Did not like it compared to the first one.
Let's see here. If it was just a second here. Okay, so it was what they grossed 82 million. Why can't I pull up the there we go. Did they have a different we had a different Agent 47 in this one.
Yep.
They did have Zachary Quinto in. And they made a little bit of money. I don't think they
They
did
made
as
a
good as the first one looks like.
No, 82 million.
Now
Now when we're starting to get it down from here. This is when I think studios started to take a real interest in stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we have Warcraft. Released June 10th of 2016.
I loved that movie.
I like the movie. I'm not a WoW player at all. I've tried. I played old school Warcraft, like Warcraft 3, the real time strategy side. But for just as a movie, I like the movie. I'll probably catch some flack for that because it made
like
a lot
the
of
movie.
money, but I don't think it was very well received. I remember hearing a lot of grumbling about this movie.
So the movie came out at the exact same time. What was that? Warcraft 2016. This is when Preacher started on TV too.
Okay.
And I think it was the same time. Let me look here. But so the 2 leads in Warcraft, one of them played Howard Stark.
Okay.
And then the girl played Tulip in Preacher.
Pulling up the IMDb on here right now.
Should be around the same time period.
Yeah.
But that's how I remember. I'm like, oh yeah, it was 2016. I'm like, oh, they're in this. They're really busy. I liked Warcraft. I thought it was great. It did phenomenal in China. Huge numbers in China.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was a good movie. Yeah, I thought it was faithful. Did you already say how much it made? $430 $39 million.
So they had a little small child interrupt us there. Yeah, did well.
They
Like,
did very
let me
well.
see what their budget was. So they had $160 million budget, made $439 million. It did well. But so we're looking at, this is something we haven't really talked about. We got a list here with the Rotten Tomatoes rating. It got a 28%. Like it didn't critically was not well received. It's a fun movie though.
It is. It's just fun.
Fight us. I liked it.
Next up was Assassin's Creed with Fassbender.
Yep.
I didn't see it.
I think I watched it once.
I didn't have any desire to see it.
To me, I didn't have faith in it that it was going to do well, which I only played like the first 2 or 3 Assassin's Creeds.
Right.
And then it just got to be where there was like a game every year. And like, I can't keep up. Like, I think that's one of those runs where you have to be like dedicated to that series.
Yep.
And I
agree.
wasn't, and I was behind. I'm like, you know what? I just can't. It was just like Uncharted. I got behind on Uncharted, and like I can't catch up on all
Can't keep
those now.
up. No.
And so then I gave up because I didn't want to pick up into the series. 7 games later. No matter how awesome I heard some of those were, because I'm always thinking in the back of my head how the first 2 were. Like, there's going to be like a long running story here, and I'm going to be behind. And just screw it, I'm out. So, but it did fairly well.
240 million.
240 million on $125 million budget.
So it made its money.
It made its money.
So if you guys haven't, and girls, if you haven't figured out, video game movies will typically at least make their money back
If they're done half-ass right.
if they're done half.
Like, they don't even have to do them really well.
No.
They just have to not suck
Um,
hard. They can
and
suck
we're gonna-
and still make their money back.
we're gonna get to one that sucked really bad.
Okay.
Resident Evil: The Final Chapter is next, 312 million.
Mhm.
The new Tomb Raider from 2018, 274 million.
Who was our new Tomb Raider? Because I didn't watch this one.
I didn't watch it either.
Alicia Vikander? Yes.
Sure.
They made some money back on that. I don't see our guy tied to that one. So we're okay.
Yui.
Yeah.
Next is Rampage. I loved Rampage.
Now, I guarantee you this is a video game movie that a huge portion of the people that watched it did not know it was a video game movie.
Yeah, I agree. It made $428 million. Had The Rock in it.
On a $140 million budget.
I really liked it.
Mhm.
I really liked it. I just thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah,
George and Lizzie.
Had Dwayne Johnson, Naomi Harris, Joe Manganiello. I knew I was going to. I butcher it every time I try to say
All
his name.
Seed.
Yeah.
All
Jeffrey
Seed.
Dean Morgan was in it. Like, you had a good,
Solid cast.
arguably a more solid cast than you had on Street Fighter. Probably definitely a more solid cast than you had on Street Fighter.
This is about the time that Hollywood's really started consulting
Mhm.
with the video game companies.
And this is one. Now, this is what's weird. So some of these games previous, like, had great stories to build off of. Resident Evil, Silent Hill. There was a Far Cry game somewhere in there that Far Cry has great stories. Doom could have had a great story behind it.
But it didn't.
But it didn't. And then you have Rampage. The game was not that you were 2 giant things busting up cities. A little side scroller type action where you climb buildings and you punch things and you ate people and you're trying to free your other Titan friend at the end of the game. Like, these were Super Nintendo era games
Mhm.
with zero story. And the damn thing makes $428 million.
Because it was good. They wrote a good story.
Yeah. This is one of those where they I mean, Midway probably, New Line produced it. It was a Midway game originally, I believe.
Yep, it was.
So yeah.
I loved playing this in the arcade. I really did.
Oh, it was a blast. Me and my kids still play it today. Like, this is one of the games that he always wants to play is Rampage. We haven't beat it. We haven't got far enough to unlock the additional characters because he keeps beating me up before we get to it. Like, he gets frustrated and starts punching my character. But yeah,
Yeah, why not?
how do you get? Okay, whatever. I don't understand it. It is what it is.
But whatever. So next off was May 3rd, 2019 was Dead Trigger. Never saw it. Had Dolphin in it though.
Oh, it did. I may have to watch it now.
It made $151,000.
The wiki for it
151,000.
is 2 paragraphs. And here, I'll read the plot to you.
Oh, let's hear
I
it.
may want to watch it. This looks like one of those movies that's going to be so bad that I'll have to watch it. After failing to stop After failing to stop a virus turning people into bloodthirsty zombies, the government develops a video game to recruit the most talented players to combat the real-life horde. Led by Captain Kyle Walker. Okay, yeah, I'll have to watch this. The team must fight through an army of the undead to locate a group of scientists that may have developed a cure for the virus. Kyle fights off the zombies using white monsters and drywall punch. No, I added that at the end. But yeah, it's got Dolph.
It's got Dolph in it, but I'm not gonna see it probably.
I may have to look this up. All right, we're coming
Okay.
to the end.
We're coming to the end, and like I said, we're just talking about the live action. We're not really talking about the animated ones. This
No,
go
because
around.
we'll go forever on those.
Yeah. Detective Pikachu, which when that came out was probably my favorite video game movie to date. I loved that movie. Like, they did everything right with it. They did the Pokemon justice.
Mm-hmm.
It was just good.
He had Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, Detective Pikachu. It was just a good movie.
At this stage in time, if you get Ryan Reynolds in anything, it's going to be gold.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what do you think about Detective Pikachu?
I liked it. It was fun. It was not too, I don't want to say juvenile because I don't want to sound like one of those guys.
Right.
But it wasn't brought down to the younger
It didn't
child.
dumb it down.
It didn't dumb it down. Right. It was a big sway from your from the traditional, Pokemon TV series shows that were very, extra lighthearted and cartoony and stuff but it didn't go so far the other direction. Like a dark Pikachu movie would have been awesome.
It didn't take itself seriously.
Yeah, I think this one was done right.
I agree. It made $433 million.
$1 million on
Million.
$150 million budget. So by, I think, today's standards, it's an average budget for a big box office movie.
Which
what
they
we're seeing.
they did light a sequel movie.
Cool.
Next, Sonic the Hedgehog.
I've started watching
After-
this so many times.
I love Sonic. I think it's at that point, Sonic was the best video game movie there was. It was just Jim Carrey was great as Robotnik.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
was it Middleditch? No, Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Schwartz. He was Sonic.
Mhm.
But it was just a great movie, and we caught a glimpse of Tails at the end. There's a new Sonic movie coming with Knuckles has already been confirmed in it.
He'll show us the way.
He will show us the way. It was a great movie. I loved Sonic.
Financially, I mean, it's success. They're showing like 85 to 90 million to make it. Box office 319. That's not counting. Okay, well, some of these where they were like close to even, there's home video sales and things like
Mhm.
that will make that number even higher. This is just box office. This is just in the theaters. So we'd have to dig a little bit deeper than I feel like doing to find out
Right.
how much money they actually made. But and of course, Sonic disc with the merchandising and stuff like that. Like my kid has, Sonic shirts and underwear and shit like that. And His cousin is obsessed with Sonic, so they made good off of this. But what gets me with how how Jim Carrey looks in this movie, every time I see him, all I can think of is Doctor Disrespect. Like that's that look. And
Right there.
yeah, I'm sure some of you guys are probably familiar with him. He's streaming on YouTube now. He used to be a big Twitch streamer. There's a lot of stuff there, but that's the look. That's what I think, and I know he hates hearing that. So I'm sorry. I know he listens.
So
Then our next one, which I want to watch this one. This is a movie from a game that I haven't played. I've heard a lot about, which is Monster Hunter.
I watched it. I liked it.
I want to watch it because you got a good cast. Of course, you got Melee in there, which of course that makes me want to watch it. Technically a box. Okay. This one we'll probably have to put an asterisk there. Budget of 60 million, box office of 40 million. This was released actually in December. When was it released in the US? December 18th, 2020. So right in the middle of the pandemic. Terrible time for box office numbers, I would think. It looks like a cool movie. Did you play any of the games?
Yeah, I love Monster Hunter. It was a good movie. Like it was good for what it was.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting a lot from it, and this is when the theaters started just barely reopening.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was a good movie because it was loosely based off of Monster Hunter, the video game.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was it had some of the aspects. So it was just a fun movie.
Okay.
If you take it for what it is, you don't go expecting a good movie.
May have to watch it. It looked like the cinematics and the special effects and stuff looked like it would be good to watch.
It's pretty.
It's a pretty game.
It's a pretty movie. So, and
now we get to the newest big boy out there.
Mm-hmm.
Mortal Kombat. 2021 Mortal Kombat.
Again, Kyle hasn't started it. I haven't finished it. So, but from what I've seen so far, I like it. Kano steals the show in it.
That's what I've heard. They've already made their money back. Had a budget.
How much was it?
Okay, so their budget was $55 million to make this. Box office to date is 66.9. So financially, it was a success. I believe this wasn't a U.S. Studio, was it? Who did this? Cinematography, edited production. No, well, New Line. Atomic Monster Productions. I want to look at this. And they're based out of the U.S. For some reason, I know what it is now. When I first saw this, I thought it was a Russian film.
Right.
Because the Russian trailer leaked early.
Oh, I could see that.
This was super hush hush for a long time. I didn't remember hearing anything about it until about a month ago.
It's been in development hell.
It's been in development hell, but then like the trailer leaked, and which I haven't been following it, but I figured something would have popped up in the last several years, like, oh, it's still going for this, but then it's like that trailer hit out of nowhere and went viral, and then the demand for the movie went through the roof. Like it's all anybody's been talking about for the last couple of weeks. I may have to watch it after we get done with this. Hopefully it starts raining so I can't mow my yard, and I'll watch this.
So, I mean, that's it right now. But then we have Werewolves Within coming up. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. Uncharted, that's the one. I'm excited about that one. That's the one with Tom Holland in it.
Uncharted?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go back a couple. Raccoon City, that's a total reboot, right?
Yep.
That's supposed to be a little bit more true to the games?
Yes, and I don't know if this is going to be live action or not, though.
Oh.
Yeah, it's supposed to be bring us back because you're supposed to have all your classic characters there. Ada Wong's supposed to be in it. Claire, Chris, Jill, Wesker. So it's supposed to be like true to the game.
Going to this upcoming video game movies list.
You go there, and I'll go on this. The new Sonic next year. Borderlands. I am excited about that one. Kevin Hart, Jack Black is playing Claptrap.
Eli Roth is directing that.
Which, if someone doesn't flay their skin off or eat someone else, I'm going to be disappointed.
This is going to be so good. I mean, because you have Eli Roth who did Cabin Fever, which I freaking love that movie. Glorious Bastards, did Grindhouse, did Hostel. So that kind of gritty style. He should have done Doom.
Green
They
Hell.
redo Doom, get Eli Roth on there.
Yep. Crossfire film. I don't know about that one. Detective Pikachu sequel. Five Nights at Freddy's. That could go one of two ways.
Well, they got beat to their own game here
By Nicolas Cage.
By Nicolas Cage. And what's the name of that movie?
I don't know. I still kind of want to see that.
I've heard it's good for what it is. It's one of those that it's not just going to blow you out of the water with, a deep story.
It's good if you go in expecting what it is.
There's a lot on here. Okay, there's the Mortal Kombat.
Gears of War. Ghost of Tsushima. Just Cause. A Just Dance film? No.
Fruit Ninja. What?
No.
Okay, so there's some of these that are announced. And there's some that are. So I think. Okay, so
Minecraft
Borderlands is
film?
filming. Asteroids is announced. Assassin's Creed 2 is announced. Altered
Saints Row
Beast.
film. Altered
announced.
Beast. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to see stuff that's either filming or in pre-production. The Division is in pre-production. This could be okay. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal in it, of course. I can see him playing that role. So did you ever play The Division?
No, I've heard
Okay.
it's good though.
Could be a good one. It's very relevant because
Tom Clancy, isn't it?
Yeah. So it'll essentially be a Tom Clancy movie that's based off a Tom Clancy video game, which Tom Clancy's been dead for how many years now? Whatever. They keep the stuff going. But The Division was based on like New York being on lockdown after a strain of smallpox breakout. So fairly topical.
I mean, there's some good ones coming up, some not so good ones.
Five Nights is in pre-production. I'm trying to see anything else that's not just announced. Oh, Spy Hunter announced. I used to play the shit out of Spy Hunter.
I did too.
What's
What's this movie going to be about? It's just going to keep going.
Yeah.
I got the oil slick.
Ooh, this will get you excited. It's not. There's nothing here other than announced for Shinobi.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'll be fun. Now, if they did a Ninja Gaiden movie, that'd be awesome.
Oh my god, that would be so good.
That would be awesome.
That game had a decent story to it. I
Had a
think
great story to it.
I never could beat the damn thing, but
They were hard.
they were stupid hard. They
And to
had it
this
all
day,
at the
they're still
beginning.
stupid hard.
Yeah.
yeah.
Roller Coaster Tycoon. There you go.
No.
There is a pre-production for a Minecraft movie. Not saying if it's
Yeah, I saw that, and I don't even know what to think about that one.
Metal Gear Solid announced, Metro announced, Mass Effect announced.
Mass Effect?
Yeah.
Ooh, I love Mass Effect.
Commander Shepard, a military hero, embarks upon an epic galaxy-wide journey
Oh,
with
it
his
is
team
Shepard.
to track down and bring infamous Saren Arterius to justice, facing insurmountable odds and lethal enemies along the way.
I'm looking up this movie.
Head-
Who's in it?
Heavy Rain. It's just announced. There's not anything
Damn
else
it.
tied to it.
Damn.
All these are just like announced. So unless there's somebody tied to it, and there's a Ghost Recon that's announced that has some people. This can't be right. Ghost Recon, okay, feature film based on the popular video game centering on a squad of U.S. Army Special Forces soldiers with state-of-the-art weapons. Stars Gregory Sanin and Derek Cappuccino Brown. That's
Wait, his name's Cappuccino?
Derek Cappuccino Brown. Make sure this is the right type of movie that we think it's going to be. That sounds like a different kind of movie name.
With Derek Cappuccino Brown.
Mm-hmm. I heard you need your ghost reconned.
Whatever.
Help me, Step Ghost.
Help me, Step Ghost.
That's all I'm seeing right now. I mean,
As you can see, there's good ones, there's bad ones, there's some in between.
Borderlands is filming though, so that is one that'll happen.
That's gonna be awesome.
That's gonna be good. Kate Blanchett's in it.
There's some big
Jack
names
Black
attached to
is
Borderlands.
doing the voice of Claptrap.
Yeah, I said that already.
I'm sorry, I was sidetracked by reading other stuff.
Like, yeah, we don't listen to you.
Calling it
So
now.
anyway.
Calling it now. That movie's going to make $450 million in the box office.
Okay, I will
call
go
it.
with you. I'm not going to argue that one at all.
One, because Jack Black's in it. That's going to draw a ton of people, regardless.
Jack Black, Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Yeah. And then the rest of our regular Borderlands people that just want to see that story told.
It's
So-
a great story.
I think a good way for us to kind of bring all this together towards the end. What is one that you would like? What's a game that you would like to see be made into a movie?
Oh shit. That's tough. Put me on the
You-
spot like that.
you get
so
one.
like you get one because I could say like Baldur's Gate.
I'll give you two if you want two. You're having-
Okay, I'm in between two right now.
Okay, what are your two? We'll go with that.
Something from the Monkey Island series, I think would be hilarious.
Okay.
You could do something good with that. Or that At Dead of Night game I've been playing?
Mhm.
With the Jimmy and she's searching the hotel and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's the psychic. I think that could be a good one too.
Do you think that's one that would take off? Because it's not a very well-known game.
It's not, but I think because the story's so good, I think that they could really do a lot with that. Or I could have said something like,
I'm taking the easy route. So,
yeah, do your BioShock.
oh,
That would be a great one.
to do the entire BioShock story.
Just the first one, starting off.
Well, to start off, but you got to tell the whole story. I mean, you have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think BioShock.
Because there's always a man in a lighthouse and whatever all that other stuff is. So
Yep. Okay,
that's one that could be like a long running one if they wanted to
right.
do it and not screw it up.
So I'm saying Monkey Island just because it's a great series. The writing's always been good on it.
Yeah.
And BioShock. What are your two?
I've always wanted a Fallout movie. Always wanted a Fallout movie.
Yeah.
And sticking with that, because there's so many stories in Fallout, right? Like there's a ton of stuff to pick from. That
So you could technically say anything and just say, yeah, no, it's part of Fallout.
like there's a lot to work with. They got a lot of freedom, and it'd be easy to throw little nods in there for the fans. I wanted to say an Elder Scrolls movie, but that's one that would have to take a lot of care to do right, because that's another one that has so much lore behind it that I haven't even got into. There's like books upon books inside the game about lore of the universe that it's in that I didn't even take time to read all those.
Right.
I was going to do that one time. I was like, I'm going to create a library and I'm just going to sit in my
And you
little
didn't.
place in Skyrim and read those, or read the ones. And, I even downloaded the original Daggerfall and got some stuff to make it work right. It never did work right because I want to go through that again, because that's one of my first PC games ever was
Right.
Daggerfall. And there's a lot of lore there. The whole Elder Scrolls thing could make a great story, and they wouldn't even have to do anything. They wouldn't have to do the Oblivion storyline or the Skyrim storyline or the Morrowind storyline. They could just do something from there, because those games span eras.
Right.
So there's a lot of potential there if somebody would just want to pick it up and do it.
I'll go with that. Um, so what are you watching or reading this week?
Okay, so I'll tie. Can I do my watching and what I learned back to back?
Yeah,
You fine
do
with
it.
that? Because I want
Do it.
they tie in together. One of the things I'm watching is Shadow and Bone on Netflix.
Which I want to see.
It's really, really good. The cinematography on it's pretty good. Like, it's you've kind of picked up from the way I talk about things. Like, I really pay attention to that. And it's not the best. It gives me a really. There's some moments that gives me a really big like BBC production feel to it.
Right.
Best way I can describe that. There's some moments that are freaking awesome, but the story has gotten really good in it. When it first kicked off, I was thinking this is going to be that, young adult book because it's based off some books. Take on how the love triangle shit that you see from like Twilight and from Hunger Games, and it's focused on the female character, female
Right.
lead, and her longtime love of her life, and this new dark, mysterious guy is introduced in it. It does. You see that early on, like it telegraphs it pretty hard, but the setting that it's in is kind of a late 18th century, early.
Now, is it
No.
steampunkish?
No, I thought it was going to be, but not really. It's more like, how do they describe it? More like Bolshevik era, like heavily Russian inspired, but fantasy land kind of, it's cool to watch.
Okay.
It's kind of gray and gritty and in my style of stuff, so
Right.
highly recommend that. Something else I watched this week, which ties into something I learned, there's a documentary on Netflix called Seaspiracy. So Sea Conspiracy.
Mhm.
And it was a guy that's was a like environmental activist type guy that was really big on the ocean, grew up watching Jacques Cousteau and David Attenborough films, things like that, that he was wanting to set out to, help save the oceans. Save the oceans. That's the big thing. And, he went from everything from, picking up trash on the beaches to starting to track down and like covertly film whaling operations in Japan, because Japan recently reallowed whaling.
Right.
I'm talking about trash pickup and things like that. And what he found out through his journey on this is whaling has a minimal impact on the ocean's ecosystem. Has an impact, but not a major impact. Some of the illegal fishing and the shark finning stuff in Japan for shark fin soup and stuff
Mhm.
has a impact, but it doesn't have a major impact. They're just like the hot topic things that really grab people's attention.
Right.
A major source of the pollution in the oceans is actually fishing nets and fishing gear. That most of the ocean life that gets lost is actually from bycatch.
Really?
Species that were not meant to be caught, that get caught up in the nets and don't survive. Like they don't.
Right.
Once they're pulled out of the water,
Right.
they're done. And so he did a lot of money tracking, and like you see the labels on your tuna fish and stuff that say, dolphin safe and all that.
Right.
The money behind the corporation, or the groups that release those labels and do the testing, quote unquote, to say that it's dolphin safe, they really don't have people on the boats checking those. There's no way to police it. There's no way to accurately depict that. And those organizations are owned and ran by Unilever, which owns some of the largest tuna fish fisheries and other fisheries in the world. And so you have a huge conflict of interest. Of course, they're going to say their stuff's tuna safe. And then they turn around and they make money by allowing people to put that on their labels. So it's,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You've learned quite a bit then.
It's an hour and a half documentary. Watch it. I'm not a big, shout it from the rooftops environmentalist type person, but I believe in trying to do what you can to keep things right, and there's just some things that seem too obvious to take care of. You know what I mean? Like there's something bigger going on, and we pay attention to the things that are flashy and outlandish and that really get our attention. You see dead whale bodies on the beach. That's going to get your attention.
Right.
What one thing they found out through the research, and he's talking with high level professors and things, is the big Exxon spill in the Gulf several years ago. The what was it? The Horizon crap.
Exxon Valdez.
Not Valdez. The Deepwater Horizon.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, the rig that had the massive leak and took him 9 months to clean up.
Right.
So they talk about the amount of aquatic wildlife that was lost directly as a result of the oil spill. The fish populations actually increased dramatically in that time frame because that area was cordoned off. They couldn't fish it, and it was being overfished. So the little the little ecosystem there actually thrived because they weren't being overfished. The amount of wildlife that they lost as a result of that spill actually gets lost in that area in about a week's time from overfishing and bycatch.
Huh.
So, it's
So
what makes stuff that makes the headlines, stuff that doesn't.
Well, I feel like crap now because what I learned is nowhere near what Kyle's is.
Well, I had a lapse last week, so I had to make up for it this week.
So what I'm watching is Arthur, I finally got through episode 1 of Invincible on Amazon, which is a great show. If you haven't watched it, it's really good. It's pretty comic accurate too. So if you haven't, go watch Invincible. It's a lot of fun. What I learned is that fixing your sound problems and your mics is a pain in the ass.
Sometimes it takes 2 of us.
Sometimes it takes 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's frustrating because it should be working and it doesn't.
We're getting there though.
Yeah, we're getting there, and then you pay some money to the Dark Lord, and he comes up and says,
"What do you want?"
And you say, "I want my stuff to work."
Well,
know.
that'll be $600. I want your soul.
See, and that's what he says. Whatever. With that, I was going to do a Nurky, but I've really got to pee after all of this.
In Nerd Drum.
Yeah, Nerd Drum. Nerd Drum. Nurky. We are going to do Nurky this week. Yay!
Yay!
The Bad Batch and Mr. Coda will be in that with us.
Nice. That's going to be an interesting perspective. We talked about this.
Yep.
Because you and Coda know Clone Wars inside and out. I've been trying to watch it several times, and I hate myself for it because I love Star Wars.
But
I'm having failure to launch and getting into that show, and which is going to put me behind on Bad Batch.
Not. Yeah, because what Kyle and I talked about was I don't want him to watch it before this.
He disallowed me.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I wanted someone's perspective who knows the Star Wars lore.
You shall not watch.
Is what he told me.
It's true. It's true. But then it's an outsider's perspective on someone who knows about Star Wars but doesn't know this full story. So I think it's going to make for a great discussion.
Coda's going to bust my balls through this whole thing.
Coda
happen.
Coda is one of us, your balls.
Yeah, he's going to rate.
We are not going to worry about what Coda thinks.
He's going to rake me over the coals. I feel like
what are you going to do? Yeah, we hear him.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, thank you all for listening to us ramble on as usual. We really appreciate you guys.
Yep.
So with that, this has been Everyman's Guide to Nerddom. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle, and wherever you guys are, have a great day, good night, good evening, whatever it is, and be good to each other.
See ya.
See ya.
Nerdcore, rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore, rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made up